Ever felt stuck between knowing and doing? The audiobook, From Insight to Action, Practical Critical Thinking Techniques, bridges that gap, revealing powerful techniques to transform your decision-making and problem-solving skills. Unlock your potential to tackle complex challenges, boost your career, and enhance personal relationships. Don't let uncertainty hold you back. Discover how to turn your insights into real-world results. Miss out, and you might find yourself still wrestling with the same old problems while others surge ahead. Before we continue, I invite you to download the free bundle, which contains the ebook version of this book and an executive summary of all the chapters with the key takeaways. Studies show that engaging with content through multiple formats significantly enhances learning and retention. Click on the first link in the description to claim your free bundle now and maximize your learning potential. Now it's free, but it won't be for long, so make sure to grab it while you can. Chapter 1: The Mindset Shift, Embracing Practical Critical Thinking. In a world inundated with information and complex challenges, the ability to think critically has never been more crucial. Yet for many, critical thinking remains an abstract concept, disconnected from everyday life. What if there was a way to bridge this gap, to transform critical thinking from an academic exercise into a practical, powerful tool for personal and professional growth? This is the journey we embark on together in From Insight to Action, Practical Critical Thinking Techniques. As you open this book, you're taking the first step towards a transformation that will reshape how you approach problems, make decisions, and navigate the complexities of modern life. This isn't just about learning a set of skills, it's about adopting a new mindset, one that will empower you to see the world through a lens of curiosity, analysis, and strategic thinking. In this initial exploration, you'll begin to develop a foundational understanding of critical thinking principles and their real-world applications. You'll start to recognize opportunities to apply these techniques in your daily life, from simple decisions to complex challenges. This is just the beginning, the laying of a cornerstone upon which you'll build increasingly sophisticated critical thinking skills. But what exactly is critical thinking in a practical sense? At its core, it's a disciplined approach to observing, analyzing, and making decisions. It's about questioning assumptions, evaluating evidence, and considering multiple perspectives before reaching conclusions. In our rapidly changing world, this skill set is invaluable, enabling you to navigate uncertainty, solve problems creatively, and adapt to new situations with confidence. The journey to becoming a skilled critical thinker involves a significant shift in perspective. It requires moving beyond conventional thinking patterns and embracing a more analytical, reflective approach. This transformation isn't always easy. It challenges us to confront our own biases and preconceptions. We all have cognitive biases, mental shortcuts that can lead to flawed reasoning. Recognizing and addressing these biases is a crucial step in developing a critical thinking mindset. Cultivating this mindset is about more than just acquiring knowledge. It's about developing a genuine openness to new ideas and a willingness to challenge your own beliefs. It's about embracing a growth mindset, understanding that your abilities and intelligence can be developed through dedication and hard work. This perspective shift is fundamental to the critical thinking journey, setting the stage for continuous learning and improvement. The benefits of mastering critical thinking are far-reaching and profound. As you progress, you'll find your decision-making processes becoming more robust and effective. You'll approach problems with a clearer, more analytical mindset, considering multiple angles and potential outcomes. This enhanced problem-solving ability doesn't just apply to big, life-changing decisions. It permeates every aspect of your daily life, from personal relationships to professional challenges. One of the most valuable outcomes of developing strong critical thinking skills is increased adaptability. In a world where change is the only constant, the ability to analyze new situations quickly and respond effectively is invaluable. Critical thinkers are better equipped to navigate uncertainty, pivot when necessary, and find innovative solutions to unforeseen challenges. The impact of these skills extends far beyond immediate problem solving. Over time, as you consistently apply critical thinking techniques, you'll experience substantial personal and professional growth. You'll find yourself better equipped to lead, innovate, and make meaningful contributions in your field. The cumulative effect of improved decision-making and problem-solving can lead to remarkable long-term outcomes, opening doors to opportunities you might never have imagined. Developing these skills is a journey, not a destination. It involves a series of steps, each building upon the last, creating a robust framework for critical thinking. These steps aren't arbitrary. They've been carefully selected and ordered to provide a logical progression, ensuring that each new skill reinforces and enhances those that came before. The sequence of chapters in this book is designed with purpose, each one unveiling a new layer of critical thinking prowess. From breaking down complex problems to navigating uncertainty, each chapter introduces a crucial aspect of practical critical thinking. This strategic approach ensures that you're not just learning isolated techniques, but building a comprehensive toolkit that you can apply in any situation. As we conclude this introductory chapter, you stand at the threshold of a transformative journey. The path ahead is filled with challenges, insights, and opportunities for growth. In the next chapter, we'll delve into a fundamental strategy that will change how you approach even the most daunting problems. Prepare to unravel complexity in ways you never thought possible. Before we continue, make sure to subscribe to Grow to the Top and activate notifications to receive more self-improvement tips that will supercharge your growth. And make sure to give this video a thumbs up and share it with your friends. It really helps the channel grow. Thank you for your support. Chapter 2: Incremental Problem Solving, Breaking Down Complexity. Have you ever stood at the base of a mountain, looking up at its towering peak, feeling overwhelmed by the sheer magnitude of the climb ahead? Many of life's challenges can feel just like that mountain, imposing, complex, and seemingly insurmountable. But what if there was a way to make that mountain feel less daunting? What if you could break it down into a series of smaller, more manageable hills? This is the essence of incremental problem solving, a powerful technique that lies at the heart of practical critical thinking. It's an approach that transforms the way we tackle complex issues, making the impossible possible and the overwhelming manageable. But how exactly does this work, and why is it so crucial in our journey to become more effective critical thinkers? At its core, incremental problem solving is about perspective. It's about learning to see the forest and the trees simultaneously. When faced with a complex problem, our natural tendency is often to try and grasp it in its entirety. We strain to see the whole picture at once, hoping for a moment of clarity where the solution will suddenly reveal itself. But more often than not, this approach leads to frustration and a sense of being overwhelmed. Incremental problem solving flips this approach on its head. Instead of trying to solve everything at once, it encourages us to take a step back and start breaking the problem down into smaller, more digestible pieces. It's like taking that mountain and dividing it into a series of smaller climbs. Suddenly, what seemed impossible becomes a series of achievable goals. But why is this approach so effective? The answer lies in how our minds process information and tackle challenges. Our cognitive resources are limited, and when faced with too much complexity at once, we can experience mental overload. This overload can lead to decision paralysis or rushed, poorly thought-out solutions. By breaking problems down, we allow our minds to focus on one aspect at a time, giving each component the attention it deserves. This systematic approach to problem solving is more than just a neat trick. It's a fundamental skill in the critical thinker's toolkit. It allows us to navigate complexity with greater ease and confidence. Instead of being overwhelmed by the enormity of a challenge, we can approach it methodically, piece by piece. So, how do we put this into practice? The first step is learning to dissect problems effectively. This doesn't mean randomly chopping a problem into pieces, but rather identifying its fundamental components. It's about understanding the structure of the problem, recognizing how different elements relate to each other, and breaking it down in a way that maintains these relationships. Think of it as creating a map of your problem. Just as a cartographer breaks down a landscape into its key features, mountains, rivers, forests, you're breaking down your problem into its core elements. This process of mapping out a problem can be revelatory in itself, often providing insights that weren't apparent when viewing the problem as a whole. Once you've broken down the problem, the next step is to organize these components into a hierarchy. Not all parts of a problem are created equal. Some will be more crucial or time-sensitive than others. By prioritizing these elements, you create a roadmap for tackling the problem. This hierarchical approach ensures that you're always focusing your energy on the most critical aspects first. With your problem broken down and prioritized, you can then begin a step-by-step analysis of each component. This is where the real power of incremental problem solving comes into play. By focusing on one element at a time, you can bring your full analytical capabilities to bear on each aspect of the problem. It's like shining a spotlight on each part of the puzzle, illuminating details and connections that might have been missed in a broader view. One of the most significant benefits of this approach is how it helps manage the feeling of being overwhelmed. Complex problems can be intimidating, often leading to procrastination or hasty decisions. By breaking the problem down, you create a series of smaller, more approachable challenges. Each of these smaller tasks feels more manageable, reducing stress and increasing confidence in your ability to tackle the overall problem. This focused analysis also leads to greater clarity. As you work through each component of the problem, you gain deeper insights into its nature. You start to see patterns and connections that weren't apparent at first glance. It's like putting together a jigsaw puzzle. As each piece falls into place, the bigger picture becomes clearer. To truly master incremental problem solving, practice is key. One effective exercise is to take a real-world problem you're facing and break it down into its components. Start with something manageable, perhaps a personal goal you've been struggling with or a project at work that's been giving you trouble. List out all the elements of the problem, then try organizing them into a hierarchy. Which aspects are most crucial? Which depend on others? Another valuable exercise is to practice hierarchical analysis. Take your broken down problem and create a tree structure with the main problem at the top and branching out into its various components. This visual representation can be incredibly powerful, helping you see relationships and dependencies you might have missed. As you practice these techniques, you'll start to see the potential outcomes of this approach. At a basic level, you'll find yourself better able to manage and simplify complex problems. This alone is a significant achievement, making previously daunting tasks feel more approachable. But the real magic happens when you take it a step further. As you become more adept at breaking down problems, you'll start to develop clear, actionable plans for addressing each component. Your solutions become more targeted and effective, addressing the root of the problem rather than just its symptoms. In the best-case scenario, this approach leads to problem resolution with lasting impact. By thoroughly understanding and addressing each aspect of a problem, you create solutions that are comprehensive and durable. You're not just putting a Band-Aid on the issue, you're treating it at its source. Of course, like any skill, incremental problem solving comes with its challenges. One common pitfall is the risk of overcomplication. In our enthusiasm to break down a problem, we might create unnecessary complexity, losing sight of the bigger picture. The key is to find the right balance, breaking the problem down enough to make it manageable, but not so much that you lose perspective. Another potential issue is missing key elements in your analysis. When breaking down a complex problem, it's possible to overlook crucial components. This is why it's important to approach the process methodically and to review your breakdown critically. Ask yourself, have I captured all the essential aspects of this problem? Are there any hidden dependencies or factors I might have missed? The applications of incremental problem solving are vast and varied. In project management, it allows for more effective planning and execution, breaking large projects into manageable phases and tasks. For personal goal setting, It can transform vague aspirations into concrete, achievable steps. In organizational decision-making, it provides a framework for tackling complex issues systematically, ensuring that all aspects are considered and addressed. The benefits of mastering this approach are profound. By reducing complexity to manageable tasks, you enhance your ability to focus on critical issues. This focused approach leads to more targeted and effective solutions. Problems that once seemed insurmountable become conquerable challenges. As we conclude this exploration of incremental problem-solving, consider how this approach might transform your own problem-solving abilities. What complex challenges in your life or work could benefit from this systematic breakdown? How might your decision-making and problem-solving processes change if you adopted this incremental approach? In our next chapter, we'll delve deeper into the art of problem analysis, uncovering a technique that will allow you to see beyond the surface and get to the very heart of any challenge. Prepare to dig deeper than you ever have before as we explore a method that could revolutionize your approach to problem solving. Chapter 3: Root Cause Analysis, Digging Deeper. Imagine you're tending to a garden plagued by wilting plants. You could water them more frequently, thinking that's the solution. But what if the real issue lies beneath the surface, hidden from view? What if the soil itself is the problem, lacking essential nutrients? This scenario illustrates a fundamental truth in problem solving. What we see on the surface often masks deeper, more significant issues. In our journey through practical critical thinking, we've learned to break down complex problems into manageable parts. Now we're going to take our analysis a step further. We're going to learn how to dig beneath the surface, to uncover the hidden factors that truly drive the problems we face. This technique is not just about solving problems, it's about understanding them at their very core. But why is this deeper level of analysis so crucial? In our fast-paced world, there's often a temptation to address issues quickly, to treat the symptoms we can see and move on. However, this approach, while sometimes providing temporary relief, rarely leads to lasting solutions. It's like putting a Band-Aid on a deep wound. It might stop the bleeding for a while, but it doesn't address the underlying injury. This is where our new technique comes into play. It's an approach that pushes us to look beyond the obvious, to question our assumptions, and to uncover the true origins of the challenges we face. By doing so, we set ourselves up not just to solve problems, but to prevent them from recurring in the future. Think about a persistent issue you've faced, either in your personal life or at work. Perhaps it's a recurring conflict with a colleague, or a process that continuously breaks down despite your best efforts to fix it. What if you could not only resolve this issue, but ensure it never happens again? This is the power of digging deeper, of seeking out root causes. The process begins with a shift in perspective. Instead of asking, how do we fix this? We start by asking, why is this happening? This simple change in questioning opens up a world of possibilities. It moves us from a reactive stance to a proactive one, from treating symptoms to addressing causes. As we start to investigate beyond the surface, we often uncover a web of interconnected factors. Like an iceberg, what we initially see may only be a small part of the whole picture. Beneath the surface lie hidden influences, historical factors, and systemic issues that contribute to the problem at hand. Understanding these true origins requires patience and persistence. It's a process of peeling back layers, each revelation potentially leading to new questions and insights. This deep analysis might feel time-consuming, especially when compared to quick-fix solutions. However, the time invested at this stage pays dividends in the long run, leading to more effective and lasting resolutions. But how do we actually go about this process of digging deeper? One powerful technique is known as the 5 whys. This method involves asking why repeatedly, typically 5 times, to move past surface-level explanations and get to the root of an issue. Let's consider an example. Problem: a critical project missed its deadline. Why? The team didn't complete all the required tasks on time. Why? Some team members were pulled into other urgent projects. Why? there wasn't a clear process for prioritizing work across projects. Why? Project managers didn't have visibility into overall resource allocation. Why? There was no centralized system for tracking and managing resources across the organization. In this example, what started as a missed deadline revealed a systemic issue with resource management. Addressing this root cause could prevent similar problems across multiple projects in the future. Another useful tool in our deep analysis toolkit is the fishbone diagram, also known as the Ishikawa diagram. This visual tool helps identify multiple potential causes for a problem, organizing them into categories such as people, processes, equipment, and environment. By mapping out these various factors, we can start to see patterns and connections that might not have been apparent otherwise. As we engage in this process of cause identification, it's crucial to remain open-minded and avoid jumping to conclusions. Our goal is to pinpoint specific actionable root causes, not to assign blame or find quick fixes. This requires a willingness to challenge our own assumptions and to consider perspectives we might not have initially thought relevant. Once we believe we've identified root causes, the next step is validation. This involves testing our findings, gathering additional data if necessary, and ensuring that addressing these causes will indeed resolve the problem at hand. This step is crucial in preventing misidentification, which could lead us to invest time and resources in solutions that don't actually address the core issue. The insights gained through this deep analysis process are invaluable not just for solving current problems, but for preventing future ones. By understanding the underlying factors that contribute to issues, we can proactively address potential problems before they arise. This preventive approach transforms our problem-solving from reactive to proactive, allowing us to create more robust systems and processes. Moreover, this technique becomes a powerful tool for continuous improvement. As we consistently apply this deeper level of analysis, we develop a more nuanced understanding of our environment, whether it's our personal life, our workplace, or broader societal issues. This understanding allows us to make incremental improvements over time, gradually building more effective and resilient systems. The outcomes of applying this technique can be transformative. At a basic level, we become more adept at identifying and addressing the immediate causes of problems. This alone can lead to significant improvements in how we handle challenges, but the real power lies in the excellent and best-case outcomes. An excellent outcome is when we develop solutions that not only resolve the current issue, but prevent its recurrence. We're not just putting out fires, we're fireproofing our environment. The best outcome goes even further. We achieve lasting resolutions that improve entire systems. We don't just solve problems, we create more effective, efficient, and resilient processes and structures. Of course, like any powerful tool, this technique comes with its challenges. One common pitfall is stopping at surface-level analysis. It's easy to think we've found the root cause when we've only scratched the surface. The key is to keep pushing, to keep asking why until we're confident we've reached the true origin of the problem. Another potential issue is misidentification of root causes. Our own biases and preconceptions can lead us astray, causing us to focus on causes that aren't truly at the heart of the issue. This is why the validation step is so crucial. We need to rigorously test our findings and be willing to revise our conclusions if new information comes to light. As we apply this technique in various aspects of our lives, we'll find that it has wide-ranging benefits. It leads to more effective solutions by addressing real issues rather than symptoms. It prevents the recurrence of similar problems by tackling underlying causes. Perhaps most importantly, it increases our overall understanding of complex issues, making us more insightful and effective problem solvers in all areas of life. As we conclude this exploration of digging deeper, consider how this approach might transform your own problem solving. What persistent issues in your life or work might benefit from this level of analysis? How might your decision-making change if you consistently sought out root causes rather than accepting surface-level explanations? In our next chapter, we'll explore a dimension of critical thinking that many find challenging: the the realm of uncertainty. We'll discover how to navigate through foggy landscapes where clear paths are hard to discern. Prepare to embrace the unknown as we uncover a strategy that turns uncertainty from a threat into an opportunity. Chapter 4: Risk Assessment: Navigating Uncertainty. Life is a journey through uncharted waters. Every decision we make, every path we choose, carries with it an element of the unknown. But what if there was a way to navigate these uncertain seas with greater confidence? What if we could peer through the fog of the future and anticipate the challenges that lie ahead? In our exploration of practical critical thinking, we've learned to break down complex problems and dig deep to uncover root causes. Now, we're about to venture into a realm that many find daunting: the world of uncertainty. But fear not, for in this chapter, we'll discover a powerful tool that can transform uncertainty from a threat into an opportunity. Imagine you're planning an outdoor event. The weather forecast suggests a chance of rain, but it's not certain. How do you proceed? Do you forge ahead with your plans, hoping for the best? Or do you have a strategy in place to handle various weather scenarios? This simple example illustrates a fundamental truth. In life, as in business, we're constantly making decisions in the face of uncertainty. But why is this ability to navigate uncertainty so crucial for practical critical thinking? In our fast-paced, ever-changing world, waiting for absolute certainty often means missing opportunities. On the other hand, charging ahead without considering potential risks can lead to disastrous consequences. The key lies in finding a balance, a way to move forward decisively while being prepared for various possible outcomes. This is where our new strategy comes into play. It's an approach that allows us to peer into the future, not with a crystal ball, but with a systematic method of identifying and evaluating potential risks. By doing so, we can make more informed decisions, minimize negative impacts, and seize opportunities that others might miss. The process begins with a shift in mindset. Instead of viewing uncertainty as something to be feared or avoided, we start to see it as a landscape to be explored and understood. This proactive approach allows us to identify potential risks before they materialize, giving us time to prepare and strategize. But how do we actually go about identifying these potential risks? It starts with asking questions and considering various scenarios. What could go wrong? What external factors might impact our plans? What assumptions are we making, and what if they prove incorrect? By systematically exploring these questions, we begin to build a comprehensive picture of the potential challenges we might face. As we engage in this process, it's important to cast a wide net. Risks can come from various sources: market changes, technological disruptions, human factors, and more. The goal is not to become paralyzed by considering every possible negative outcome, but to develop a realistic understanding of the landscape we're navigating. Once we've identified potential risks, the next step is to evaluate them. Not all risks are created equal. Some are more likely to occur, while others might have a greater impact if they do happen. This is where tools like risk matrices come in handy. By plotting risks on a grid based on their likelihood and potential impact, we can visually represent which risks deserve the most attention. But identifying and evaluating risks is only part of the equation. The real power of this approach lies in how it informs our decision-making. By understanding the risks associated with different options, we can make more balanced choices. It's not about always choosing the safest path, but about making informed decisions where the potential rewards are weighed carefully against the risks. This balanced approach to decision-making is crucial in both personal and professional contexts. In our personal lives, it might guide decisions about career moves, investments, or even relationships. In a business context, it could inform strategic decisions about new product launches, market expansions, or organizational changes. Once we've made our decisions, the next step is to develop strategies to mitigate the risks we've identified. This might involve creating backup plans, allocating resources differently, or putting safeguards in place. The goal is not to eliminate risk entirely, that's often impossible, but to reduce its potential impact and increase our ability to respond effectively if things don't go as planned. An essential part of this risk mitigation process is contingency planning. This involves developing specific plans for how to respond if certain risks do materialize. It's like having a series of Plan Bs ready to go. These contingency plans not only help us respond more effectively to challenges, but also provide peace of mind, knowing that we're prepared for various scenarios. To truly master this approach, practice is key. One effective exercise is to take a specific scenario, perhaps a major decision you're facing or a project you're planning, and list out all the potential risks you can think of. Don't censor yourself at this stage. Let your imagination run wild. Once you have your list, categorize these risks. Are they financial risks, operational risks, reputational risks? Next, evaluate each risk in terms of its likelihood and potential impact. Which risks keep you up at night? Which ones, while unlikely, could be catastrophic if they occurred? This process of identification and evaluation will give you a clearer picture of the risk landscape you're navigating. Another valuable exercise is scenario planning. Take your top 3 or 4 risks and develop detailed contingency plans for each. What would you do if this risk materialized? What resources would you need? Who would need to be involved? By thinking through these scenarios in advance, you'll be better prepared to handle challenges if they arise. As you practice these techniques, you'll start to see the potential outcomes of this approach. At a basic level, you'll become more adept at identifying key risks and developing mitigation strategies. This alone can significantly improve your decision-making and planning processes. But the real magic happens when you take it a step further. As you become more skilled at risk assessment, you'll find yourself implementing effective contingency plans and reducing the impact of risks when they do occur. You'll move from reacting to challenges to anticipating and managing them proactively. In the best-case scenario, this approach leads to a newfound ability to navigate uncertainty with confidence and resilience. You'll find yourself making bold decisions, seizing opportunities that others miss, all while having a clear understanding of the risks involved and plans in place to manage them. Of course, like any skill, risk assessment comes with its challenges. One common pitfall is the tendency to ignore or underestimate certain risks, especially those that seem unlikely or are outside our usual experience. This is why it's crucial to approach the process systematically and to challenge our own assumptions regularly. Another potential issue is inadequate planning. It's not enough to identify risks. We need to have robust, detailed plans for how to respond to them. This requires time and effort, but it's an investment that pays off when challenges arise. The applications of this risk assessment approach are vast and varied. In project management, it allows for more effective planning and execution, anticipating potential roadblocks and having strategies in place to overcome them. For personal decision-making, it provides a framework for making tough choices with greater confidence. In organizational contexts, it can inform strategic planning, helping companies navigate uncertain markets and seize competitive advantages. The benefits of mastering this approach are profound. It leads to more informed, balanced decision-making, reducing the impact of negative surprises. By minimizing uncertainty through preparedness, it allows us to move forward with greater confidence, even in challenging situations. Perhaps most importantly, it enhances our overall preparedness, increasing our readiness to respond to unforeseen challenges. As we conclude this exploration of navigating uncertainty, consider how this approach might transform your own decision-making processes. What major decisions or projects in your life could benefit from this systematic risk assessment? How might your approach to uncertainty change if you had clear strategies for identifying, evaluating, and mitigating risks? In our next chapter, we'll delve into a concept that might seem at odds with the thorough analysis we've been discussing. We'll explore a strategy that challenges the pursuit of perfection, introducing an approach that could revolutionize how you make decisions and solve problems. Prepare to embrace a new perspective that balances idealism with pragmatism in ways you might never have considered. Chapter 5: Satisficing, Balancing Perfection and Pragmatism. Have you ever found yourself caught in the pursuit of the perfect solution, only to realize that you've spent an inordinate amount of time and resources without making meaningful progress? Or perhaps you've witnessed a project stall because every detail had to be just right before moving forward. If these scenarios sound familiar, you're not alone. In our quest for excellence, we often fall into the trap of perfectionism, forgetting that sometimes good enough can be great. In this chapter, we're going to explore a concept that might initially seem counterintuitive, especially after our deep dives into thorough analysis and risk assessment. We're going to learn about a strategy that challenges the very notion of perfection, introducing an approach that could revolutionize how you make decisions and solve problems. But what exactly is this strategy, and why is it so crucial for practical, critical thinking? At its core, it's about finding a balance, a sweet spot between the ideal and the practical. It's an approach that recognizes the constraints of the real world and works within them to achieve effective outcomes. Think about the last time you made a major purchase, like a smartphone or a car. Did you spend weeks researching every possible option, comparing minute details, and agonizing over which choice was absolutely perfect? Or did you set some key criteria, find an option that met those criteria well enough, and make your decision? If you chose the latter approach, you were intuitively applying the principle we're about to explore. This strategy is particularly important in today's fast-paced world, where decisions often need to be made quickly and resources are almost always limited. It enables us to make timely, practical decisions without getting bogged down in endless analysis or the pursuit of an often elusive perfect solution. Moreover, it helps us manage our resources, time, money, energy, more effectively, ensuring we're using them where they'll have the most impact. But how does this approach actually work in practice? It starts with a shift in mindset. Instead of asking, what's the best possible solution, we begin by asking, what's a solution that meets our essential needs and can be implemented effectively with the resources we have? This simple change in questioning opens up a world of possibilities and often leads to more efficient and effective outcomes. The key lies in understanding what good enough really means in any given context. It's not about settling for mediocrity or cutting corners. Rather, it's about clearly defining what success looks like and then finding the most efficient path to that success. It's about recognizing that beyond a certain point, additional effort, time, or resources often yield diminishing returns. Consider a software development project. The traditional approach might be to keep adding features and refining the product until it's perfect. But in reality, this often leads to delayed launches, budget overruns, and products that are bloated with features users don't actually need. The alternative approach would be to define the core features that will deliver value to users, focus on executing those well, and get the product to market. This allows for real-world feedback and iterative improvement, often resulting in a more successful product in the long run. This strategy also shines when it comes to efficiency. By focusing on solutions that meet essential criteria rather than striving for perfection, we can often achieve our objectives with a fraction of the resources. This efficient use of resources, whether it's time, money, or human effort, allows us to tackle more challenges and seize more opportunities. Time management is another area where this approach proves invaluable. In many situations, a timely decision is more valuable than a perfect one. By embracing this strategy, we can make decisions more quickly, allowing us to move forward and adjust course as needed based on real-world feedback. But doesn't this approach risk leading to subpar outcomes? Not if it's applied thoughtfully. The key is to clearly define what good enough means in each specific context. This involves setting clear criteria for what constitutes an acceptable solution. These criteria should be based on the essential requirements of the situation, taking into account the available resources and the potential impact of the decision. Another crucial aspect of this strategy is its inherent flexibility. In a world where conditions can change rapidly, the ability to adapt quickly is often more valuable than having a perfect plan. This approach encourages adaptability by allowing for decisions to be made and actions to be taken, even when all the information isn't available or when circumstances are uncertain. This flexibility extends to how we respond to new information. When we're not wedded to the idea of a perfect solution, we're more open to adjusting our course based on new insights or changing conditions. This adaptability can be a significant advantage in both personal and professional contexts. To truly master this approach, practice is essential. One effective exercise is to identify decisions in your life where this strategy could be applied effectively. These might be everyday choices, like deciding on a restaurant for dinner, or more significant decisions like choosing a new job or planning a project at work. For each decision, try to define what good enough would look like. What are the essential criteria that need to be met? What factors are nice to have but not crucial? Another valuable exercise is to practice resource allocation with this mindset. Take a project or goal you're working on and evaluate the resources you have available: time, money, energy, skills. Now, consider how you could allocate these resources to achieve a satisfactory outcome most efficiently. What aspects of the project are most crucial? Where might you be over-investing resources for minimal gain? As you practice these techniques, you'll start to see the potential outcomes of this approach. At a basic level, you'll find yourself making more efficient decisions that meet your essential criteria without unnecessary delay or resource expenditure. This alone can lead to significant improvements in your productivity and effectiveness. But the real magic happens when you take it a step further. As you become more adept at applying this strategy, you'll likely find yourself optimizing your resource use while still achieving your objectives. You'll become more skilled at identifying where to focus your efforts for maximum impact and where good enough is truly good enough. In the best-case scenario, this approach leads to a mastery of balancing quality and practicality. You'll be able to navigate complex decisions with a clear understanding of what's truly important, making choices that are both effective and efficient. This balance allows you to achieve more with less, opening up new possibilities and opportunities. Of course, like any powerful tool, this strategy comes with its challenges. One common pitfall is the tendency to use it as an excuse for mediocrity. It's important to remember that good enough doesn't mean barely adequate. The goal is still to achieve high-quality outcomes, just in a more pragmatic and efficient manner. Another potential issue is ignoring important constraints or criteria in the pursuit of quick solutions. This is why it's crucial to clearly define what constitutes an acceptable outcome before making decisions. By setting clear criteria up front, we can ensure that our good enough solutions truly meet our needs. As we apply this strategy in various aspects of our lives, we'll find that it has wide-ranging benefits. It saves time by helping us avoid the paralysis of perfectionism and instead focus on practical outcomes. It optimizes our use of resources, allowing us to balance quality and practicality effectively. Perhaps most importantly, it encourages flexible solutions, enhancing our ability to adapt to changing conditions. As we conclude this exploration of balancing perfection and pragmatism, consider how this approach might transform your own decision-making and problem-solving processes. What areas of your life or work might benefit from this more pragmatic approach? How might your productivity and effectiveness improve if you embraced the idea that good enough can often be great? In our next chapter, we'll explore a strategy that might seem small at first glance, but has the power to create monumental change over time. We'll discover how tiny steps can lead to giant leaps, and how consistency can be a force more powerful than intensity. Prepare to uncover an approach that could revolutionize how you think about progress and achievement. Chapter 6: Incremental Improvement, the Power of Small Wins. Have you ever stood at the base of a towering mountain, feeling overwhelmed by the sheer magnitude of the climb ahead? The summit seems impossibly far, and the journey to reach it daunting. But what if I told you that conquering that mountain isn't about taking giant leaps, but rather about mastering the art of small steps? In our journey through practical critical thinking, we've explored strategies that help us break down problems, analyze risks, and make pragmatic decisions. Now, we're about to delve into an approach that might seem deceptively simple at first glance, but has the power to create profound change over time. This strategy is all about harnessing the power of small, consistent actions. It's about understanding that true growth and improvement often don't come in dramatic bursts, but rather through a steady accumulation of minor advancements. But why is this approach so crucial for practical critical thinking? In our fast-paced world, there's often a temptation to seek quick, dramatic solutions. We want instant results, transformative breakthroughs. However, this mindset can often lead to frustration and burnout. It can make us overlook the power of small, consistent efforts in creating lasting change. This strategy offers an alternative. It's an approach that recognizes that sustainable growth and improvement come through ongoing, incremental progress. It's about cultivating a mindset that values continuous development, no matter how small each step might seem. Think about learning a new language. You don't become fluent overnight. It's the daily practice, the gradual accumulation of vocabulary and grammar that eventually leads to mastery. The same principle applies to nearly every area of personal and professional development. But how does this approach actually work in practice? It starts with a shift in perspective. Instead of focusing solely on big, ambitious goals, we begin to value and actively seek out small improvements. We learn to celebrate minor victories and understand how they contribute to our larger objectives. This mindset of continuous growth is at the heart of many successful philosophies and methodologies. Take, for example, the Japanese concept of Kaizen, which emphasizes continuous improvement in all areas of life. In the business world, this approach has revolutionized manufacturing and management practices. But its principles can be applied just as effectively to personal development and problem solving. The power of this strategy lies in its cumulative impact. Each small improvement, each minor victory, might seem insignificant on its own, but over time, these small wins accumulate, creating a momentum that can lead to substantial change. It's like compound interest for personal and professional growth. Small, consistent investments yield significant returns over time. Consider how this might apply to improving a skill. Let's say you want to become a better public speaker. Instead of expecting to transform into a master orator overnight, you focus on small, achievable goals. Maybe you practice for just 5 minutes a day, or you work on improving one specific aspect of your delivery each week. These small efforts, consistently applied, can lead to remarkable improvement over time. This approach also has a powerful effect on motivation. Big goals can often feel overwhelming, leading to procrastination or giving up entirely. But small, achievable goals provide regular doses of success and satisfaction. Each small win boosts our confidence and motivation, encouraging us to keep pushing forward. Another crucial aspect of this strategy is its emphasis on feedback and iteration. By focusing on small, frequent improvements, we create more opportunities for feedback and adjustment. This iterative process allows us to fine-tune our approach continuously, making our growth more efficient and effective. But how do we put this strategy into practice? One effective technique is micro-goal setting. This involves breaking down larger objectives into small, manageable tasks that can be accomplished in a short time frame. For instance, if your goal is to write a book, your micro-goal might be to write 100 words a day. It's a small target, but consistently met, it leads to significant progress over time. Another valuable practice is to actively seek out and analyze feedback. This doesn't just mean formal evaluations or reviews. It can be as simple as reflecting on your daily experiences and identifying areas for improvement. The key is to approach this process with curiosity and openness, viewing each piece of feedback as an opportunity for growth rather than criticism. To truly master this approach, regular practice is essential. One effective exercise is to choose an area of your life or work where you'd like to see improvement. Then identify one small action you can take each day to move towards that goal. It might be spending 5 minutes learning a new skill, making one sales call, or doing a single push-up. the specific action isn't as important as the consistency of doing it every day. Another valuable exercise is to practice tracking and celebrating your small wins. Keep a journal or use a tracking app to record your daily progress. Take time to acknowledge and celebrate these small achievements. This practice not only helps maintain motivation, but also makes the cumulative impact of your efforts more visible over time. As you apply these techniques, you'll start to see the potential outcomes of this approach. At a basic level, you'll achieve small improvements and begin to recognize progress in areas where you may have previously felt stuck. This alone can be incredibly motivating and empowering. But the real magic happens when you maintain this approach over time. As you continue to focus on small, consistent improvements, you'll likely find yourself maintaining steady growth and building on your small wins. You'll develop a momentum that carries you forward, making progress feel more natural and achievable. In the best-case scenario, this approach leads to significant progress through the accumulation of many small improvements. You might look back after months or years and be amazed at how far you've come, all through the power of small, consistent efforts. Of course, like any strategy, this approach comes with its challenges. One common pitfall is stagnation. It's easy to fall into a routine and stop seeking new opportunities for improvement. The key is to continuously challenge yourself, always looking for new areas where you can make small advancements. Another potential issue is neglecting feedback. In our focus on making consistent progress, we might overlook important information that could help us adjust our approach. This is why it's crucial to build feedback loops into our improvement process, regularly assessing our progress and being open to change. As we apply this strategy in various aspects of our lives, we'll find that it has wide-ranging benefits. It fosters sustained growth through continuous learning, keeping us engaged and developing over the long term. The regular boost of motivation from small successes helps reinforce our efforts, making it easier to maintain our improvement practices. Perhaps most importantly, it allows us to achieve substantial progress over time, often surpassing what we might have thought possible at the outset. As we conclude this exploration of incremental improvement, consider how this approach might transform your own growth and development processes. What areas of your life or work might benefit from a focus on small, consistent improvements? How might your progress and achievements change if you embraced the power of small wins? In our next chapter, we'll explore a dimension of critical thinking that many overlook, the power of reflection. We'll discover how looking back can be the key to moving forward, and how understanding our past decisions can shape our future ones. Prepare to unlock a new level of insight as we delve into a strategy that turns experience into wisdom. Chapter 7. Outcome Assessment, Learning from Results. Have you ever found yourself repeating the same mistakes, wondering why you can't seem to break free from certain patterns? Or perhaps you've experienced unexpected success and wished you could replicate it consistently. The key to both these scenarios might lie in a practice that's often overlooked in our fast-paced world, the art of looking back to move forward. In our journey through practical critical thinking, we've explored strategies that help us break down problems, navigate uncertainty, and make incremental improvements. Now, we're about to delve into an approach that might seem counterintuitive at first glance, but has the power to dramatically enhance our decision-making and personal growth. This strategy is all about harnessing the power of our experiences, both good and bad. It's about understanding that every outcome, whether it's a resounding success or a dismal failure, holds valuable lessons if we're willing to look for them. But why is this approach so crucial for practical critical thinking? In our results-driven society, there's often a tendency to move quickly from one task to the next, rarely pausing to reflect on what we've just accomplished or experienced. We're so focused on the future that we forget to learn from the past. This mindset can lead us to miss out on crucial insights that could inform our future decisions and actions. This strategy offers an alternative. It's an approach that recognizes that true growth and improvement come not just from doing, but from understanding what we've done. It's about cultivating a mindset that values reflection and analysis as much as action and results. Think about a scientist conducting experiments. The experiment itself is crucial, but it's the analysis of the results that leads to new discoveries and advancements. The same principle applies to our personal and professional lives. Every decision we make, every action we take, is like an experiment. The outcomes of these experiments are rich with information if we know how to interpret them. But how does this approach actually work in practice? It starts with a shift in perspective. Instead of viewing outcomes as final endpoints, we begin to see them as starting points for learning and growth. We develop a habit of pausing after significant events or decisions to reflect on what happened, why it happened, and what we can learn from it. This reflective practice is at the heart of many successful learning methodologies. Take, for example, the concept of after-action review used in military and business contexts. This structured debriefing process helps teams learn from their experiences, whether successful or not. But its principles can be applied just as effectively to personal development and individual decision-making. The power of this strategy lies in its ability to turn experience into wisdom. Each outcome we analyze becomes a lesson learned, a piece of knowledge that we can apply to future situations. It's like building a personal database of insights that we can draw upon to make better decisions and achieve better results over time. Consider how this might apply to a professional setting. Let's say you've just completed a major project. Instead of immediately moving on to the next task, you take time to reflect on the process. What went well? What challenges did you face? How did you overcome them? What would you do differently next time? This reflection not only helps you learn from this specific experience, but also equips you with insights that can be applied to future projects. This approach is particularly powerful when it comes to learning from mistakes. It's human nature to want to forget about our failures quickly, to sweep them under the rug and move on. But in doing so, we miss out on valuable learning opportunities. By analyzing our failures with the same rigor we apply to our successes, we can identify areas for improvement and strategies to avoid similar pitfalls in the future. But it's not just about learning from mistakes. Celebrating and analyzing our successes is equally important. By understanding what contributed to a positive outcome, we can work to replicate those conditions in future endeavors. This positive reinforcement also boosts confidence and motivation, encouraging us to continue striving for excellence. Another crucial aspect of this strategy is its role in informed decision-making. By systematically evaluating the outcomes of our past decisions, we build a knowledge base that informs our future choices. We become more adept at predicting potential outcomes and identifying effective strategies. But how do we put this strategy into practice? One effective technique is to develop a habit of regular reflection. This could be as simple as spending a few minutes at the end of each day thinking about what went well and what could have been improved. For more significant decisions or events, you might set aside dedicated time for a more thorough analysis. Another valuable practice is to use structured frameworks for evaluation. For example, you might use a simple template that asks, what was the intended outcome? What actually happened? Why did it happen this way? What can be learned from this? These structured approaches help ensure that we're considering all aspects of an outcome and extracting maximum value from our experiences. To truly master this approach, consistent practice is essential. One effective exercise is to choose a recent decision or event in your life and conduct a thorough analysis. Start by describing what happened as objectively as possible. Then, dig deeper. What factors contributed to this outcome? What assumptions did you make? Were they correct? What surprises did you encounter? What would you do differently if faced with a similar situation in the future? Another valuable exercise is to practice celebrating successes in a meaningful way. The next time you achieve a goal or have a positive outcome, resist the urge to immediately move on to the next challenge. Instead, take time to acknowledge the achievement and analyze what led to it. What strategies worked well? What obstacles did you overcome? how can you apply these lessons to future endeavors? As you apply these techniques, you'll start to see the potential outcomes of this approach. At a basic level, you'll begin to identify key lessons from both your successes and failures. This alone can lead to improved decision-making and problem-solving skills. But the real magic happens when you consistently apply these insights to enhance your future decisions and actions. You'll likely find yourself making more informed choices, anticipating potential pitfalls, and replicating successful strategies more consistently. In the best-case scenario, this approach leads to continuous growth through effective outcome assessment. You develop a heightened awareness of the consequences of your actions and decisions. This awareness, combined with the insights gained from systematic reflection, allows you to continuously refine your approach to challenges and opportunities. Of course, like any strategy, this approach comes with its challenges. One common pitfall is overlooking lessons, particularly from seemingly minor events or decisions. It's easy to focus only on big outcomes and miss the valuable insights that can come from everyday experiences. The key is to cultivate a habit of reflection that encompasses both significant and small-scale outcomes. Another potential issue is the failure to act on the insights gained. It's not enough to analyze outcomes. We need to actively apply what we've learned to drive improvement and growth. This requires a commitment to change and a willingness to adjust our behaviors and strategies based on our reflections. As we apply this strategy in various aspects of our lives, we'll find that it has wide-ranging benefits. It enhances our learning by encouraging us to extract maximum value from our experiences. It improves our decision-making by providing a rich base of insights to draw upon. Perhaps most importantly, it fosters a growth mindset, encouraging us to view every experience, good or bad, as an opportunity for development. As we conclude this exploration of outcome assessment, consider how this approach might transform your own learning and decision-making processes. How might your personal and professional growth accelerate if you consistently took time to reflect on and learn from your experiences? What insights might you uncover by looking more closely at the outcomes of your actions and decisions? In our next chapter, we'll explore a dimension of critical thinking that extends beyond personal growth. We'll discover how the skills we've developed can be leveraged not just for our own benefit, but for the betterment of those around us. Prepare to unlock a new level of impact as we delve into a strategy that turns personal wisdom into collective growth. Chapter 8: Sharing the Journey, Teaching Critical Thinking to Others. Have you ever had a moment of clarity, a sudden insight that transformed your understanding of a complex problem? It's an exhilarating feeling, isn't it? Now imagine being able to spark that same clarity in others, to guide them towards their own moments of revelation. What if the skills you've developed could become a catalyst for growth, not just in your own life, but in the lives of those around you? Throughout our journey into practical critical thinking, we've explored strategies that enhance our own decision-making and problem-solving abilities. We've learned to break down complex issues, navigate uncertainty, and learn from our experiences. But now, we're about to embark on a new dimension of this journey, one that extends our impact beyond ourselves. This chapter is about unlocking a powerful multiplier effect. It's about discovering how the act of sharing our knowledge and insights can not only benefit others, but can also deepen our own understanding and mastery of critical thinking. But why is this approach so crucial in our exploration of practical critical thinking? In our individualistic society, there's often a tendency to view personal growth as a solitary pursuit. We focus on developing our own skills, expanding our own knowledge, solving our own problems. While this self-focus is important, it overlooks a fundamental truth. Humans are social beings, and some of our most profound learning and growth happens through interaction with others. This strategy offers a different perspective. It's an approach that recognizes that teaching is not just about imparting knowledge, but about creating a dynamic exchange of ideas. It's about fostering an environment where critical thinking becomes a shared value, a collective skill that elevates everyone involved. Think about a time when you've tried to explain a complex concept to someone else. In the process of breaking it down, simplifying it, and addressing questions, didn't you find that your own understanding deepened? This is the essence of the strategy we're exploring, the idea that in teaching, we also learn. But how does this approach actually work in practice? It starts with a shift in mindset. Instead of viewing your critical thinking skills as a personal asset, begin to see them as a resource that can be shared and multiplied. Look for opportunities to engage others in thoughtful discussion, to challenge assumptions, to explore different perspectives. One powerful technique in this approach is the use of active questioning. This involves guiding others not by providing answers, but by asking thought-provoking questions. It's about encouraging people to dig deeper, to question their assumptions, to look at problems from different angles. By doing this, you're not just sharing information, you're teaching a process of thinking critically. Consider how this might play out in a workplace setting. Instead of simply providing solutions to your team, you might pose questions that stimulate critical thinking. What assumptions are we making here? What alternative approaches could we consider? How might this decision impact different stakeholders? These questions not only lead to better solutions, but also help your team develop their own critical thinking skills. Another crucial aspect of this strategy is the promotion of collaborative learning. By encouraging diverse viewpoints and collective problem solving, we create an environment where critical thinking flourishes. This approach recognizes that the best solutions often emerge not from a single brilliant mind, but from the collective wisdom of a group thinking critically together. Imagine a brainstorming session where instead of rushing to solutions, the group first engages in a thoughtful analysis of the problem. Each person is encouraged to share their perspective, challenge assumptions, and build on each other's ideas. This collaborative approach not only leads to more innovative solutions, but also strengthens the critical thinking skills of everyone involved. The role of mentorship and leadership is also key in this strategy. As you develop your critical thinking skills, you have the opportunity to serve as a guide for others, helping them navigate complex problems and develop their own analytical abilities. This mentorship role not only benefits those you're guiding, but also reinforces and deepens your own skills. But how do we put this strategy into practice? One effective technique is to facilitate group discussions that stimulate critical thinking. This could be as formal as a structured debate on a complex issue, or as informal as a lunchtime conversation where you encourage deeper analysis of current events. The key is to create an environment where questioning, analysis, and diverse viewpoints are welcomed and encouraged. Another valuable practice is to engage in one-on-one mentorship. This could involve taking a colleague or friend under your wing, guiding them through the process of developing their critical thinking skills. Share the techniques you've learned, pose challenging questions, and provide constructive feedback as they work through complex problems. To truly master this approach, consistent practice and reflection are essential. One effective exercise is to choose a concept or technique from this book and try to teach it to someone else. As you do this, pay attention to how the act of teaching deepens your own understanding. What questions arise that you hadn't considered before? How does explaining the concept to someone else force you to clarify your own thinking? Another valuable exercise is to engage in a group problem-solving session. Choose a complex issue. It could be a workplace challenge, a community problem, or even a global issue, and guide a group through a critical thinking process to analyze it. Encourage diverse viewpoints, challenge assumptions, and foster collaborative solution finding. Reflect on how this collective approach leads to insights that might not have emerged through individual analysis alone. As you apply these techniques, you'll start to see the potential outcomes of this approach. At a basic level, you'll find yourself successfully guiding others in understanding critical thinking. You'll see those around you beginning to approach problems more analytically, to question more deeply, to consider multiple perspectives. But the real magic happens when this approach takes root more broadly. As you consistently engage in these practices, you might find yourself fostering a community of critical thinkers. Whether in your workplace, your social circle, or your family, you'll see a shift towards more thoughtful, analytical approaches to challenges and decisions. In the best-case scenario, this approach leads to lasting change through collaborative growth. You create an environment where critical thinking becomes the norm, where challenging assumptions and seeking diverse perspectives is automatic. This collective elevation of thinking can lead to more innovative solutions, better decision-making, and a more engaged and empowered group of individuals. Of course, like any strategy, this approach comes with its challenges. One common pitfall is resistance to change. Some people may be uncomfortable with being pushed to think more critically, especially if they're used to more passive learning or decision-making styles. The key here is to encourage openness through positive reinforcement. Celebrate instances of good critical thinking, no matter how small, and frame the process as an exciting journey of discovery rather than a critique of current thinking. Another potential issue is a lack of engagement. Not everyone may be immediately excited about diving into deep analysis or questioning their assumptions. This is where the use of interactive techniques becomes crucial. Find ways to make the process engaging and relevant. Use real-world examples that resonate with your audience. Incorporate elements of gamification or storytelling to make the learning process more dynamic and appealing. As we apply this strategy in various aspects of our lives, we'll find that it has wide-ranging benefits. It strengthens our own critical thinking skills by forcing us to articulate and apply our knowledge in new ways. It fosters a culture of collaborative problem-solving, leading to more innovative and robust solutions. Perhaps most importantly, it creates a lasting impact by empowering others to think critically and make informed decisions, creating a ripple effect of improved thinking and decision-making. As we conclude this exploration of teaching critical thinking to others, consider how this approach might transform your own learning and your impact on those around you. How might your personal and professional environment change if you actively fostered critical thinking in others? What new insights and solutions might emerge from a collective commitment to thoughtful, analytical approaches? In our final chapter, we'll step back and take a broader view of our journey. We'll explore how the strategies we've learned come together to create a powerful toolkit for navigating life's complexities. Prepare to see how all the pieces fit together as we uncover the ultimate potential of practical critical thinking in shaping not just our own lives, but the world around us. Chapter 9: Journey Beyond: The Evolution of Critical Thinking. As we stand at the summit of our exploration into practical critical thinking, take a moment to appreciate the journey we've undertaken together. From the foothills of breaking down complex problems to the peaks of sharing our insights with others, we've traversed a landscape rich with strategies, insights, and transformative ideas. But this summit is not the end of our journey. Rather, it's a vantage point from which we can see the endless horizons of growth and possibility that lie before us. Throughout this book, we've explored a diverse array of critical thinking techniques. We've learned to dissect complex problems, dig deep to uncover root causes, navigate uncertainty, balance perfection with pragmatism, harness the power of small wins, learn from our outcomes, and share our insights with others. Each of these strategies is powerful in its own right, but their true strength emerges when we see them not as isolated tools, but as interconnected parts of a comprehensive toolkit. Imagine a master craftsman's workshop. Each tool has its specific purpose, but it's the craftsman's ability to select the right tool for each task, to combine tools in innovative ways that truly brings a masterpiece to life. In the same way, your mastery of critical thinking comes not just from knowing each technique, but from understanding how to integrate them, how to apply them holistically to the challenges you face. This holistic approach to critical thinking is not a fixed set of rules, but a fluid, adaptive mindset. It's about developing the ability to see problems from multiple angles, to approach challenges with a flexible, nuanced perspective. It's about knowing when to zoom in for detailed analysis and when to step back for a broader view. This adaptability is crucial because the world we live in is not static, it's constantly evolving, presenting us with new and unexpected challenges. As we look to the future, we can be certain of one thing: the challenges we'll face will be complex, often unprecedented. The pace of technological change, the interconnectedness of global systems, the evolving nature of work and society, all these factors contribute to a world that demands ever more sophisticated critical thinking skills. But far from being daunting, this reality is exciting. With the toolkit you've developed, you're not just prepared for these challenges, you're empowered to shape the future. The skills and insights you've gained through this journey are not just academic exercises, they're practical tools for personal empowerment. Think about the decisions you face in your daily life: career choices, personal relationships, financial planning. With your enhanced critical thinking skills, you can approach these decisions with greater confidence and clarity. You can break down complex choices into manageable components, analyze potential outcomes, and make decisions that align with your values and goals. But the impact of your newfound skills extends far beyond personal decision-making. Critical thinking has the power to transform your relationships and interactions with others. By applying these techniques to your communication, you can express your ideas more clearly, understand others more deeply, and navigate conflicts more effectively. Imagine approaching disagreements not as win-lose battles, but as opportunities for collaborative problem-solving. By encouraging critical thinking in your interactions, you can foster more meaningful, productive relationships in all areas of your life. As you continue to apply and refine these skills, you'll find yourself capable of achievements that might have seemed out of reach before. Problems that once appeared insurmountable now become exciting challenges to be solved. You'll approach complex situations with a sense of curiosity and confidence, knowing that you have the tools to analyze, understand, and address them effectively. This newfound capability isn't just about solving problems. It's about seeing opportunities where others see obstacles, about innovating where others accept the status quo. One of the most exciting aspects of this journey is that it becomes easier and more natural over time. As you continue to practice the concepts in this book, you'll find that critical thinking becomes less of a conscious effort and more of an instinctive approach. It's like learning to play a musical instrument. At first, every note requires concentration, but with practice, the music begins to flow effortlessly. In the same way, you'll find yourself applying these critical thinking techniques with increasing ease and effectiveness. This effortless improvement doesn't mean the journey is over. Quite the opposite. It means you're free to tackle even greater challenges, to push the boundaries of your capabilities further. The beauty of critical thinking is that there's always room for growth, always new depths to explore. Each challenge you overcome, each insight you gain, opens up new avenues for learning and development. As we conclude our journey together, I want to leave you with a powerful truth. The skills you've developed are more than just tools for personal success. They're catalysts for positive change in the world around you. In an era of information overload, echo chambers, and complex global challenges, critical thinkers are more vital than ever. Your ability to analyze, question, and innovate doesn't just benefit you, it contributes to the collective wisdom and progress of society. Imagine the ripple effect of your enhanced critical thinking. In your workplace, you might inspire more innovative solutions and efficient processes. In your community, you could contribute to more informed decision-making and effective problem-solving. On a broader scale, as you engage with global issues, your critical thinking skills allow you to cut through misinformation, understand complex problems, and contribute meaningfully to important dialogues. The journey you've embarked upon is nothing less than a personal revolution, a transformation in how you perceive, analyze, and interact with the world. You've developed not just a set of skills, but a new lens through which to view life's challenges and opportunities. This lens brings clarity to confusion, reveals possibilities in problems, and empowers you to shape your reality rather than simply reacting to it. As you move forward from this book, carry with you the knowledge that you are now equipped to be a force for positive change in your own life and in the world around you. Your journey with critical thinking is a lifelong one, full of discovery, growth, and impact. Embrace it with enthusiasm. Apply your skills with confidence and never stop questioning, learning, and evolving. The power to transform your life and contribute to a better world lies within the critical thinking skills you've developed. Use them wisely, share them generously, and watch as they open doors to possibilities you might never have imagined. Your journey as a critical thinker is just beginning, and the horizons before you are limitless. However, to truly maximize the potential of your newfound critical thinking abilities, there's one more crucial element to master. It's the key to unlocking unprecedented levels of personal and professional success, the missing link that can elevate your decision-making and problem-solving skills to extraordinary heights. Curious about what this game-changing factor could be? The answer lies in my next book, High EQ Critical Thinking: How to 10x Your Emotional Intelligence Overnight. This essential companion to your critical thinking journey promises to revolutionize how you navigate life's challenges and seize its opportunities. Tap the center of the video now to continue your transformation journey.